Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at those micro movements, what's been going on the 1 hour chart for BTC. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be able to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, you are missing a trick. Check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and it's the first place that we go to notify you of everything that is going on in the crypto space. So why not keep a finger on the pulse of crypto by joining us down in Discord. Okay guys, let's jump right down into this one. Keep it nice and brief on this Sunday morning and what is going on with Bitcoin. So as you can kind of see here, this is kind of what we've been talking about in terms of the video content for the last few days. We see that there's a move to the downside, the bearish setups, all that kind of stuff. Here on this particular chart, we can see it's not good, etc, etc. And so we're talking about that Bitcoin crash that's occurred and what might happen next. And we're going to just follow that up here with our next video. So nothing terribly too unusual, business as usual. Let's come down into our Elliott wave to start with. Okay, we're going to take a look at Elliott wave, then we'll jump into smart money after. So over here we have Elliott wave theory showing us with our moves to the downside. Now we've hit these nested structures. We've hit the 1.618 already. We moved up into this range for the wave 4, and well, we're going to be looking for a wave 5. Okay, now this wave 4, we're going to scrutinize it, make sure that everything is kind of where we'd expect it to be. We had a big wick down here, huge amounts of buying pressure at this point, pushed upwards with a fair value gap in this little area here, and for the most part we've kind of, yeah, it looks like we haven't really done any impulsive structures, but what we'll do is we'll jump down into a 5-minute chart because we are going to want to make sure that everything here is following suit. We could kind of argue maybe there's 5 there. Do the due diligence on it. We'll just check. I could go down to a 1-minute chart to be certain of it. Yeah, we could argue that that has a little 5 wave right in there with down here, and then another one in here to make a zigzag pattern. So I'm okay with that. We correct down, corrective over here, very corrective on the sideways structures here. This move to the downside, again, nothing to kind of worry about there. That's all good. Let's bring us back to our hourly. So it doesn't look like we have to worry about any larger zigzag patterns taking us up higher. At the moment, we're kind of really resting and testing on that 50 EMA. The 200 EMA is slightly higher, around that 27,475. We could potentially see a move up there. Gain wouldn't be too much of a concern. Ultimately, our invalidation is at 28,300. Anything higher than that, then I'm going to have to reassess this particular count as to whether or not I got something wrong. It's not the best count either, so something there could be a little bit off, mainly driven from this little middle area just here. Okay, but I'm going to leave it as it is for now and see how it kind of goes. For the most part, our expectation should be that we move down just a fraction further to finish off that structure. Is it possible that that structure is already finished? Yes. I just don't think it has. I think there's probably a little bit more to the downside to go. Ultimately, we're really looking for 24,864, which is this little 1.618 down here. So it'd be interesting to kind of see what happens with that. Okay, let's jump into our expectations on this. Hypothetically thinking that we've already topped out, which is possible that we haven't, but if we have, where does that take us? Takes us down into this little lower range just here. Let me go ahead and just adjust my yellow box because as we push up higher, the lower that wave 5 will have to go. So in here, we can see it ranges between $25,077 and $25,528. That's at the moment our 5th wave expectations. But we do know that we want to come down a little bit deeper, so it could overextend. And like I say, if we go higher, then we'll have to come down lower later. Okay, it's one of those. So for the most part, Elliott wave theory is telling us that we have this idea that things here are looking pretty bearish. Now, if I get rid of those fibs, we don't need them anymore. I'll show you what the nested looks like. We have 5 here, 3 up here. This would complete 5 here. We then come up into another wave 4, down into another wave 5. Then, of course, that would be wrapped up inside another one, which is a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. And then that would get wrapped up once more up in here, which will be a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. And this is all to do with the degrees of Elliott wave theory. This is where a lot of people tend to get Elliott wave theory a little bit wrong, is they don't appreciate the nested positions and what has to happen inside each of these internal structures to allow for your macro to kind of play out in the direction that you want. So that being said, that it gives us our 5-wave count to the downside, and it would be very, very, very bearish. Now, none of this is yet to be confirmed. It is just a theory until we kind of hit this 1.618 target down here at 24,864. And then there's one additional lower one that would come in. I think it's around 23,900. I think I've got it on the daily. Yeah, 23,937. That's the additional one there that we'd also have to hit at a later date. Okay, so we know that there's this potential structure here that's emerging, and once we kind of get these structures played out and they kind of complete, we'll get confirmation that that is what's going on. And when we count that confirmation, we can then start to plot what's going to happen afterwards, because if you start with 5 waves, you must end in 5 waves. And so if we have a big 5-wave structure like that showing us with, you know, $23,000, then we're going to have a nice surge upwards. You know, it'd be a 3-wave corrective surge upwards and get some price recovery back in, and then another 5 waves down, and that could be pretty deep and could take us down lower than 20k BTC. And that's something that I think is very much needed, and we talk about that in the macro views in the afternoon and things like that. Jumping over into the smart money concepts, we are in a bearish structure on our hourly. That hasn't changed. That's been the case from all the way up here in April. Change of character from bullish to bearish. Break of structure remains bearish, break of structure remains bearish, break of structure remains bearish. Right now we can see that there's a lot of micro bearishness as well, and we just had another micro movement just in here with a little micro change of character from the micro bullish to bearish, so again remains bearish. Now up here we can see that we have internal sell order blocks on the high side. Again, they're not anything too unusual. Down here at the low side, we have our buy internal blocks. Okay, so we can see that sellers is where we are right now, and buying is a little bit deeper than where we are. We can see that the discounted and reach and weak low is down at the bottom. Again, we were expecting that to get broken to the downside. We have a strong high, weak low situation. So again, still looks like we have to go down. Equilibrium is above the 200 EMA at the moment, and that could be an interesting one for later. I don't think we're going to go up and push past that right now. If anything, I think maybe we'll get rejected on the 200 EMA, but we'll see how that kind of plays out. Equilibrium, I think we'll come back to later. We can see that there's more internal sell order blocks up here. Okay, so all that is looking pretty good in terms of where we'll probably end up having to move to later. We had that small fair value gap that I spoke about earlier. Again, a little bit of a push to the upside driven from whales, and manipulated in trying to kind of trap out and grab as much liquidity. A lot of people shorting the market, grab the liquidity and so forth. Price will come back down, and again, more short positions will probably open up, and then we'll bounce back up again. Typically, wave 3s are driven from institutional level money, in both directions, so just bear that in mind. Wave 4s are usually retail, and wave 5s are usually retail. So we'll keep an eye on, see how they kind of play out in terms of an Elliott wave theory. But from our smart money concepts and our Elliott wave theory, everything kind of comes together here to say we are looking pretty bearish. And for the most part, yeah, we'll have to see how that kind of plays out. Now, there's a couple of other things that could be occurring here when it comes to Bitcoin. So obviously I have the 5-wave theory, the impulsive structures nesting down. It's also possible that we're ending up with a very complex zigzag structures. It could be a double zigzag, triple zigzag, and so forth. So WXYXZ, and we could be seeing a lot of nested positions within those. So we could see maybe we have like let's say a double zigzag, which contains zigzags within it, for example, right? And so there's a few different options that are going on when it comes to the Elliott wave side of things. So we have to be really, really cautious with exactly what's going on here. Okay, I'm thinking the most logical explanation for this is that we do have nested positions within our impulsive structures, but we can't rule out the idea of double or triple zigzags with zigzags within them. So we'll have to keep an eye on those as well. Okay, so for the most part, everything here kind of coming along quite nicely. I expect some volatility today, being the fact that it is Sunday and a weekly close. We could see a fair few things occur here. If we are lucky enough to hit the 5th wave low, before late afternoon, then we might see a bit of a surge upwards for the bulls to kind of regain some of that weekly close positioning, etc. So I'm going to leave the video there, guys. If you found it useful and informative, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. Don't forget to join us down in Discord, guys, linked in the description below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
We are not financial advisors, and none of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.